Welcome to Front Porch Stories, presented by Craig Messer. Back in the hills, down winding roads, and tucked between ridges, there are small towns and quiet hollers where stories live through the people who've called Appalachia home for generations. Around here, history isn't just written in books, it's shared on front porches, at kitchen tables, and in the voices of the folks who've lived it. On this show, we sit down with some of those voices and we hear their memories, the legends, the hard times, the good times, and everything in between. Now, welcome to our front porch. Grab a cold iced tea and let's settle in for another edition of Front Porch Stories. Here's your host, Craig Messer.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Craig Messer's Front Porch Stories. If you're watching on YouTube, you're obviously going to see a difference in what I'm wearing because I'm going to introduce my guest here in a moment. But before I did that, I wanted to read their full bio. It's an incredible guest that has done some incredible things for this country. And being the 250th anniversary of the founding of our nation, I wanted to feature a true American hero. And that's what I'm getting to do. I'm blessed to do so. So I'm going to introduce you in just a moment to one of my cousins. His name's Eddie Noland. Eddie's mother and my grandmother are sisters. He and my dad are first cousins. And I'm truly blessed to have the opportunity to sit down with him for a few moments and just talk to him. Because as you see when I read this in a moment, he's one of a kind, an American hero. It took men and women like him from the founding of this country to now to keep us free, to keep us safe. And he's somebody that did that. And I'm blessed. I'm thankful that we have these type of people in our country, but I'm even more thankful that I've got one in my own family. So I'm going to read his description. Then I want to tell you what ChatGPT said about him once I did a little research. Command Sergeant Major Eddie Noland entered the Army in September of 1988, attending basic training, airborne training, and the Ranger Indoctrination Program at Fort Benning, Georgia. CSM Noland was first assigned to Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment, where he served as a rifleman, machine gunner, team leader, squad leader, weapons squad leader, and sniper team leader. After service in 1st Ranger Battalion, CSM Noland was reassigned to the 18th Airborne Corps, LRSC, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where he served as a recon team leader. CSM Noland was then assigned to 2nd Battalion, 58th Infantry, Fort Benning, Georgia, where he served as a senior drill sergeant. In 2001, CSM Noland returned to the 75th Ranger Regiment, serving as a platoon sergeant in B Company, 3rd Ranger Battalion. Regimental Operations NCO, Ranger Training Detachment Assistant Commandant, Platoon Sergeant A Company's 3rd Ranger Battalion, and as a Ranger Operations Company 1st Sergeant. In 2008, CSM Noland was assigned to the Joint Special Operations Command, where he served as the J3 Operations Sergeant Major. In 2009, CSM returned to the Ranger Regiment, where he served as the Regimental Reconnaissance Company Sergeant Major, Regiment Special Troops Battalion Command Sergeant Major, and most recently as the Command Sergeant Major for the 3rd Ranger Battalion Command Sergeant Major. CSM Noland has been selected to serve as the Brigade Command Sergeant Major. In 2013, CSM Noland was inducted in as a distinguished member of the 75th Ranger Regiment. CSM Noland attended the Airborne Course, Ranger Course, WLC, ALC, SLC, United States Army Sergeant Major Academy, Sniper School, SERE School, Jump Master Course, Master Fitness Trainer Course, Jungle Warfare School, and the Drill Sergeant School. CSM Noland has served on numerous contingent operations including Operation Just Cause, Operation Uphold Democracy, Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom. His awards and decoration include the Legion of Merit with oak leaf clusters, the Bronze Star Medal with Valor device, a 5 oak leaf clusters, Purple Heart with 1 oak leaf cluster, the Meritorious Service Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, the Joint Service Commendation Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, the Valor Device and 12 oak leaf clusters, the Army Achievement Medal with 6 oak leaf clusters, the Joint Meritorious Unit Award, the Army Good Conduct Medal, 8th Award, the Afghanistan Campaign Medal, the Iraq Campaign Medal, and the Global War on Terrorism medals. CSM Noland has earned the Ranger Tab, Combat's Infantryman's Badge 2nd Award, Expert Infantryman's Badge, Drill Sergeant Badge, and the Master Parachutist Badge with Bronze Service Star. That is a lot. I want to tell you that in 2001, I can remember when I was young that he was going to be on TV because he was at the White House and George W. Bush was going to do something. And my grandmother was so excited to see her nephew on TV. I remember she took pictures of the television. So she considered him an absolute American hero, and so do I. So I want to introduce you here in just a moment to Command Sergeant Major Eddie Noland. Before we do that official introduction, I wanted to tell you what chat said. I put all this in there, and chat said this person is quite accomplished and reached a level that very, very, very few could ever reach, and is an extreme elite company when it comes to the military. So once again, if you didn't understand that from the bio, chat's telling us this guy's pretty elite when it comes to all that stuff. So happy to introduce my cousin, Mr. Eddie Noland. All right, so here is the man of the hour, Mr. Eddie Noland. Go ahead and talk about yourself a little bit for us.
Well, I grew up in Haywood County, grew up in Bethel, and then moved to Canton. Nothing great happens there, but the big thing that does happen there, I know it's a big football town, sports town. Played sports growing up. Went to Pisgah High School and then graduated. Started working right out of high school. I worked out in Asheville at VME, building dump trucks and painting dump trucks and that kind of stuff. Decided that was tried college for a little while. Went to AV Tech for a little while. That didn't work out. Didn't enjoy it too much, so ended up joining the military. Joined the military in '88 and spent 25 years in.
20. That's a long time. That's a long time. So back when you were a kid, you grew up in Bethel, moved to Canton, playing football. Were you better than Travis?
No.
I was going to see if there's any rivalry there. Yeah, I was better than him.
Yeah.
So he was quite an athlete from what I hear. So you were friends. Let's step back a little bit then. You were pretty good friends with Mark Stevenson, correct?
Yes, sir.
So Mark told me a few stories that I can't share about your times together. So I might share those off air. He was just cracking up, reliving some times back in the day. So Mark's a good one.
I still stay in touch with Mark. Yeah.
Yeah, good deal. So did the military ever, as a kid, was that, as a kid, high school, was that ever a dream or a thought? Okay.
No, it just one of the things that just hit me one day. Couldn't stay out of trouble, so I was like, all right, I got to figure something out.
Yeah. And how old were you when you enlisted?
I went.
Yeah.
19 maybe? 18, 19, I don't remember. 19?
So
I don't remember. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a few years, right? Army Rangers, was that the goal, or was it just I'm going to be in the military?
No, whenever I decided to join, my goal was to go in the Ranger Regiment.
It was, okay.
And whenever I first went to the Army recruiter, they told me they couldn't do it. So I said, okay, then I'm going to go in the Marine Corps. So I started walking out the door, walking to the next door. which happened to be the Marine Corps recruiter, and the guy chased me down, and I got the contract, so it worked out.
There you go. That worked out. Where did you go to boot camp?
Fort Benning.
Fort Benning. So, are you still close to Fort Benning, where you live now in Georgia?
I'm about an hour and a half south of Columbus. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So boot camp, and then I guess you
Blakely,
went to
Georgia.
Ranger School right after that.
I went to boot camp, and then I went to airborne school, and then after airborne school, I went to the regiment had a indoctrination program. So you had to go through the indoctrination program to get into the Ranger Regiment because it's a volunteer unit.
Gotcha.
So I went from basic training to airborne school to the Ranger indoctrination program, and then to 1st Ranger Battalion in Savannah. And then once you get to your battalion, depending on timing and how many slots are available and how well you're doing, then they send you to Ranger School.
Okay.
And then you go to Ranger School from there.
Awesome. So how long?
So I went to Ranger School
process?
in '89.
Okay. So it's
Well,
a pretty good long process.
Yeah, I went to Ranger
Got to
School.
do well.
It is. It is. Yeah.
So you went to Panama. What year was that? 89?
89.
So you got out, and
I got out of I graduated in November, and then we jumped into Panama in December.
Wow. So can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
It was an experience, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Jumping at night from 500 feet, it's not fun. I don't, unless you do it as a sport, skydiving or whatever, but static line jumping out of an airplane, there's nothing fun about it.
Right.
It was kind of that first year I had in the military was quick. I mean, it went quick because I got to 1st Ranger Battalion in I think January or February, and then throughout that year, Ranger School. Yeah, I think we went to Egypt, and then during that time frame, and then came back, went to Ranger School, and then Panama. So yeah, that first year was I was definitely sucking through a fire hose for sure.
Absolutely. What a whirlwind. So in Panama, did you, I heard, and who knows if this is true, that you got in there in like the palace, Noriega's palace, and like his cigar was still sitting there lit. Was you that close behind him coming in there?
No, I don't think I went. I don't think we went into. Not us. We jumped in and secured the airfield, so he was already taken off by the time we were the first ones on the ground. We didn't go into the palace initially. Yeah, we were too busy chasing the bad guys. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So how long were you total in Panama?
I was only a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks maybe. It wasn't that long.
Okay.
It was a quick trip.
So after that, fast forward to, I guess, Desert Storm. Did you do anything in Desert Storm?
Didn't go to Desert Storm, no.
Okay.
I guess the next one would have been Haiti. We set off the coast of Haiti for a while, and then as we're getting ready to go in and do the mission, I guess the mission got aborted, and we landed back on the Kitty Hawk and came off.
Wow.
But yeah, we were going in off of aircraft carrier on that one.
Okay, very cool. So I guess fast forward, what would the next thing be? Maybe like Iraq, Afghanistan? Is that kind of our timeline here?
Yeah. I'm thinking. Give me a second. I don't want to say something wrong.
Yeah.
I think for Haiti, we were on the USS Americas. It was the Kitty Hawk whenever we initially went into Afghanistan. So I don't want to get my ships right here. But then the next one was Iraq and Afghanistan.
How much time did you spend in those two countries?
So I probably did, oh God, I have no idea. I mean, it was covering what, 20 years? I mean,
yeah, off and on a lot.
back and forth. We did in the unit, in the Ranger Regiment I was in, we had shorter rotations because our op tempo was so high when we got there. We'd be there for 90 to 120 days, but we would do 90 to 120 missions.
Wow.
While we're there. So the op tempo, a lot higher, because we were going out pretty much every night, depending on weather, to where the sustainability was just not there. So we would rotate in and out about 100 every 90 to 120 days, and then
Wow.
we would come back and train on what went wrong, and then go back and do it again.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, for sure. That does it get I'm sure it does. Does it get tiring, or is it like, hey, this is my job, gonna get it done? I mean,
No, I didn't get tired.
yeah,
No, not really. When it gets tired, it gets tiring whenever you go and there's nothing to do. You
that
know,
makes
if
sense.
as it starts wearing down and there's not a lot of bad guys to chase or whatever, that's when it gets tiring,
Yeah,
because you're just sitting there
just
when you
sitting
could be doing
there.
something else.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
So, is there any was there
didn't
any?
happen much, but it did happen.
Yeah. Was there ever a time that you were extremely fearful, or was that kind of just your daily?
No, I mean it just depends. I mean, it
Yeah.
depends on the mission, how you were getting there, who the target was. But yeah, there's nobody going to tell you that some of that stuff wasn't scary.
Right.
And then that's the other part. I was just not getting complacent. It keeps you on your toes, and those kind of things. So,
Yeah.
but every mission's different. So it just depended on what it was.
Right. For sure. So, what year did you retire out? 13, 14?
2014, 14.
Okay. So, since then, did you do some training, like training new recruits?
No, when I retired, I I went to work where I'm working now. It was a different. It was owned by somebody different than it is now, but it is a training facility that
Okay.
I work at. But I do the business development side and for military and law enforcement contracts and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And then that place, the other owner of that place didn't do too well, so he went under, and I went back to Columbus and was working. I had a couple of jobs. I worked for Yorktown as a master counter IED instructor for a little while, and then I worked for Lockheed Martin back at the Ranger Regiment. And when this place reopened back to Arena, which it is now, I've been down here ever since. I've been down here about 8, 9 years now.
Oh wow. Okay. I know you've hosted some pretty cool, seems like some pretty interesting people. I think Donald Trump Jr. came down there and did some things, and
We did, yeah.
maybe Brian Kemp. I think I saw that. So you've had some interesting
Yep, he was there.
people
Yep.
come and look around. So that's pretty awesome. Did you ever meet any of the presidents while you're in service?
I met George W.
George
at the
W.
White House.
Okay. So you went
Hmm.
to the White House. Did you get to go in the Oval Office?
I did,
Was
I did
that
not. We met him. I met him at the on the Rose Garden.
okay?
It was outside. I didn't go
Okay.
in. Yeah,
Okay. Well, that's still got to be a pretty cool experience, I guess. Get to stand
that
there
was
and
cool. Yeah,
meet the
that's cool.
president. Yeah. So let's shift gears
Yeah.
a little bit and talk about, this is the 250th anniversary of the United States. For you, as someone that has done so
Right.
much for this country, how do you look at this? Like, do you see it different, you think, than a regular everyday citizen? You take a
No, I
different
mean
kind
I
of
think it's
pride.
great. I think that the way that this administration is approaching it is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you watched the fights last night, but
Yeah, I did.
they did a phenomenal job with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Whenever they've got uh, you know responders and Medal of Honor winners walking in the fighters and doing those kind of things. I thought that was perfect. That's the way it should be. And
Absolutely.
I think just seeing what else he's got, whatever they've got lined up for the Fourth of July weekend is, I think they're approaching it the right way.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Good deal. Do you have big plans for the 4th?
No,
No, no big plans.
no, probably go on vacation for a little
Yeah.
bit, and after the Fourth, I don't try to go anywhere during the weekend.
No, that's not. Good deal. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share to anybody,
No,
or
other than that, not really.
yeah? Do you have any? You know, looking back on your military career, I guess you loved it. Obviously, you stayed in a long time. Um, somebody looking at going into the military, what would be some advice you might give them?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think that it's something that, it's not something that you can just committed to, because once you get there and you sign into boot camp, that's it. You're committed. So if you're going to commit yourself, then be do your best. Don't get there and realize that, hey, maybe this wasn't for me or whatever, because it's really the only way out is to do something bad. And so the best thing you can do is just get committed up front and set your goals, and then see them through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good deal. Well, I've got 3 questions I end every episode with. And they're a little, it kind of keeps all my episodes tied together a little bit. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Tombstone.
Tombstone. That's a good one. Favorite TV show of all time?
That's a good question. Sons of Anarchy.
Okay, good deal. Favorite music artist of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah, of all time.
Man, that's, I'd say George Jones, probably.
George Jones, that's good. I like it. Well, good deal. Well, I appreciate you being on. Look forward to airing this and getting it out there to the world. So thank you for everything you've done for this country. You're truly a hero. I believe that firmly. So
I don't know about that, but I appreciate you calling me, and I appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie. Talk later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey y'all, I'm Craig Messer, local realtor with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Heritage out here in beautiful Haywood County, North Carolina. We've got 2 offices to serve you, one in Maggie Valley and one in Canton. If you are looking to buy or sell, this is the perfect time to do so, and Western North Carolina is the greatest place that you can do it. Western North Carolina is what we like to call God's country. We've got beautiful mountains, beautiful valleys, beautiful rivers, great people, great downtown scenes, great schools with some of the greatest rivalries in all of the Southeast. I'm a local. I was born here and raised here, went to school here, I go to church here, and now I'm raising my own family here. And I can attest that there's nowhere else that I would rather be. And if you're looking to buy or sell, reach out to me and let's start this journey together. Whether you want to be up on the mountaintop or down here in the valley, we can find a place for you.